About 2 months ago, I got caught in a pretty serious avalanche. I went for 2,000 feet. Basically, the whole mountainside came down, and the avalanches are rated by their class. Class 1 being, an avalanche that takes out trees and cars, and Class 2 is a avalanche that takes out trees, cars, and probably bus-sized vehicles. And then Class 3 is when an avalanche can take out, trees, cars, buses, and homes, houses. And people don't generally survive. People don't survive Class 1 avalanches often. I don't know very many people that have survived a Class 3 avalanche, and that was the kind of avalanche I got caught in. So when the avalanche happened, I just finished filming with Jeremy Jones and Xavier Delarue in the Tetons. We were checking conditions. We'd skied our objective, which was, this line called the sliver. And it's just this little sliver that comes down the middle of this big face. And we were coming out, and the temperatures were rising pretty significantly, and so there was a lot of change happening in the snowpack. And we were aware of that. We've all spent a lot of time in the mountains, and we were trying to manage the terrain and the snowpack. And I was actually third on slope, and those two guys were up on the side on this little safe zone. And I just watched the whole mountain pretty much crack behind me, and I got caught in the avalanche. I was, probably a few hundred feet down. I was still on top, and I watched a bunch of these trees just snap in half in front of me, and went over this big rollover, and I went to the bottom of the snowpack and just got crushed and held down for a while. And then I eventually resurfaced to the top. When you're at the bottom, you don't want it to stop, because if it stops, they will never find you, because it was too big. There was no way they were going to find me. So I came up to the top, and eventually you can feel the weight coming off of you. It's really kind of an unbearable amount of weight, because it's like hundreds of tons of snow, essentially. And then I came back to the top, and I kind of rolled over, and I was back on top of the snowpack, and I looked around me, and for a moment, actually, I stopped being scared, because just the magnitude of what I was caught in was so incredible that, it was like I had the moment to pause, and you don't generally feel that kind of power ever, especially in an uncontrolled environment. I mean, because, we're talking about the weight of several airplanes essentially flying down the mountain around you, like an ocean of, this avalanche. And, as far, probably a couple hundred feet to either side of me was just in motion and all around me. And then I went back into the snowpack. I remember looking too, and I looked down, and I could see the entire avalanche path, and it was all, I knew I was going to the bottom of the valley, and the trees are like that big, and these are like 100 foot tall trees. And I was like, okay, I'm going back to I'm going all the way. And I went another 1,000 feet to the bottom, and same thing, got caught deep in the bottom. Just thought I was going to get ripped apart from the forces, and then I don't know what happened. I got to the bottom, I could feel it slowing down, and I popped right out at the toe of the avalanche. And it took my partners 20 minutes, 30 minutes to even get down, and they were 100% sure I was gone. They were like, they would have been less surprised if they had been talking to my ghost. When they showed up and they saw me, they were just couldn't believe it. It's very rare when I experience something like that, hopefully never again, but where I usually just try to push through it, and this time I decided I should probably take a little break. But so I took a month off, went down to Mexico. I love surfing, so I was down there surfing for a while. The people that worked on me afterwards said that my body felt like, was like, it was reacting as if every bone in my body had broken, even though nothing had been broken, but essentially everything had gotten taken to the point of breaking, like everything. So I was, for a month I felt like I'd been run over by a Mack truck or several Mack trucks. And then but it was good. The ocean was very healing. And I think in your 20s and even early 30s, or for me, there's a certain sense of immortality, or actually that's not true. It's not a sense of immortality. It's no sense of mortality. Certainly there are lessons that I could go on and on about, but it's important to do what's meaningful to you, and that, you don't want to take your time for granted, of course.